What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of Your Hair Made Simple, where we encourage you to embrace your natural hair with clarity, confidence, and courage. I'm your host, Shannon, and today we are jumping into an exciting episode where we're diving into all things caring for and embracing your natural hair when you are traveling. So if you are someone who is learning to care for your natural hair, who loves traveling abroad, going to different spaces, different countries, or even just taking trips within our country, within the US, or day trips wherever you are, this is an episode that you want to be sure to listen in on as we just talk about all the ins and outs and the nuances of hair care. And today I have with me Bianca, who is a former 9-to-5er turned digital nomad and quote unquote US dropout. I'm screaming at that language, but that's what she termed it. Who has been to 24 countries and counting. She left the US with a one-way ticket to Brazil in February 2024, and she has been journeying and traveling since then. So I'm so excited to have her on to talk about her experiences caring for her natural hair while abroad. And so with that being said, Bianca, I will turn it over to you to share a little bit more about your hair story, say hello, and talk about how hair and travel have impacted you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Shannon. I'm so excited to be on this episode. Thank you so much for having me. I think that it's so cool to be able to be someone who is a travel creator, but to talk about all these other elements like hair and how they have really just shown up for me in so many different parts of the world. So I've been a natural hair girly since maybe like 2012, 2013. It's definitely been a minute. And one of the biggest things that I have learned is it is a very different life when you can just, go and run to your favorite like beauty supply store versus whenever you are abroad. So I feel like I have so many different hair stories, and like many other naturals out there, there have been the up and down of I love my hair, I hate my hair is so frustrating, I wish my hair were more like this, I'm embracing my hair the way that it is. And it's been a really, really beautiful journey. And I'm really happy to be in a place where I truly do love my natural hair. I mean, of course, day to day, sometimes I do get a little frustrated when I feel like I don't know what exactly she wants. I do refer to her as a she, by the way. Like sometimes I don't know what she wants, but honestly, overall, it's been a really beautiful journey.
I love that. And so I know you started going abroad in February 2024, and you've been natural since like 2012, 2013-ish, right? And so one, I guess to like go a little bit deeper into the hair story, like what was the catalyst to start you going natural? We'll start there. And then how did being natural start to show up when you started to travel?
Wow. What was the catalyst to me going natural? I really got to take it back. That feels like so long ago. To be honest with you, this is going to sound so wild, but this was when I was like, oh my God, what was I? 19, 20? I don't know. But I was visiting my sister who she went to a HBCU in North Carolina called Central. And I was visiting her and I had just gotten a relaxer. And we took photos because, back then, you take all the photos before you go party, etc. And then house party days. What a life. I'm old now.
Girl, retired house party.
Exactly. And I remember looking back at the photos and I just was looking at my hair and I was like, my hair just looked so flat and so dead and just like, it just didn't really look healthy. And I just didn't feel like, I didn't look at this photo and think like, this is me. And at this point in time, obviously people were natural. It wasn't, I would say I didn't see as many people being natural as I did right now, but I decided to make the shift because looking at that photo made me realize that I just didn't want to keep subscribing to this idea of my hair has to be straight to be beautiful. And I was recognizing I love volume. I love big hair. Like, why do I keep conforming this way? I, of course, have the stories of getting relaxers for so many years and, the perm sores and all the things. So I was also just kind of like, girl, you're probably not even going to miss these. Like, let's just.
Painful, and maybe we should just stop.
Literally. Yes, 100%. So that was the catalyst to me going natural. And I was basically just like, Bianca, you can be patient with this journey. You know, I was like, you know what? If you absolutely hate it, then guess what? You can get another relaxer. Like if it, which thank God that didn't happen.
Right. But it's like, really, there's an out here. Like it was a non-committal decision at the time.
Exactly. Literally, there's an out and it's in a box, and you can go grab it like at any point in time. So, yeah, that's how the natural journey began. And I mean, again, there have been a lot of ups and downs. I mean, I used a lot of heat on my hair for like the first several years because like I just wasn't as comfortable with my curl pattern. So if I have to put a number on it, it's definitely 4C. Like I am the super kinky, super coily, really tight curl pattern. And so I was still battling with a lot of these thoughts of your hair is too nappy and your hair is unruly and it's too coarse. And it felt like I was living that. And I would alternate between wearing, a sew-in or wearing, braids. And then I would feel how uncomfortable it felt whenever I was about to take out my hair. Like, oh, you about to go be bald headed again. Like I mean, at the end of the day, my story is my story. Like I'm not like ashamed of it, but sometimes it does make me sad whenever I think about some of the things that I said to myself, some of the things that I thought about myself because of my natural hair, like the hair that grows out of my head, like my God-given crown. Yeah. So again, it's been a journey, but I am definitely now at a point where I'm like, I just love natural hair. I love the volume. I love the different textures. I love having big hair. My ultimate goal is to have like a massive Erykah Badu fro. So I'm just like, so now I'm here for it. And travel has made the journey interesting as well because it's taught me the importance of keeping my hair care so simple. Mm-hmm. And that alone has made it so much less of a chore for me today.
Yeah. Just the reality, right, of like our feelings and our experiences with our hair do ebb and flow, right? And when we make that pivot, we're also, navigating, resetting our mindsets. Like you have to embrace a healthy hair mindset and resetting our self-talk, right? Because we've heard maybe depending on who you are, like, but a lot of us have heard counter narratives and counter messages for so long. And that is part of the battle when it comes, I don't want to say battle, but kind of sometimes, right? Like when you're choosing yourself for anything, like it does take that work and that overcoming process. So I appreciate your transparency with that. And even for the topic of natural hair when travel, and even how you said like your hair was like flat because you were doing a perm and you were like somewhere visiting somebody. It's not like traveling abroad, but it's like, I'm getting ready to go do this thing. I want my hair to look a certain way, right? And then we realized that maybe that's actually not how we want to show up in the world, Mm-hmm. And so for you, right, like as you started to embrace your hair and you said you were honestly just over time coming to a point where you're able to kind of embrace and accept your hair a little bit more. You were doing a lot of heat earlier on and you started kind of taking these leaps into travel. So connect that piece of like the hair and embracing the hair and how it started to show up, like even when you took your first trip abroad and bought that one-way ticket.
Oh man. So whenever I left for the first time last year, February 2024. So I got my hair braided before I left. I was like, you know what? Let me start off this journey not even having to think about doing my hair. Yeah. Because me and my husband were like, we don't really know what we're getting ourselves into. Okay, we're already going out here. We kind of have a plan. We don't really have a plan, but we're saying we're going to live out of suitcases for X amount of time. And we're going to go to all these different countries. We're going to spend 1 month in a country. We're going to be in 11 countries and all of these things. So I was like, all right, let me start off by keeping it simple. So I started off in Brazil. So my hair was braided the entire time there. And then we flew to Vietnam. And this is where everything shifted.
Brazil to Vietnam is a big leap culturally, continent-wise, just all the thing-wise. Like, we're going to different hemispheres, sides of the world, all the things.
Yeah, that's fair. And the amount of people who said the same thing when we were in Brazil, like, where are you guys going next? We were like, Vietnam. They were like, yeah, we wanted our first country to be, I'm air quoting, right? We wanted our first country to be like on like the same side of the world. Like we wanted to, we weren't ready to go to Asia because neither of us had been to Asia. So we were like, let's get the vibe of just being a digital nomad before we go into what honestly sometimes can feel like another planet because it is so culturally different. So we decided to start with Vietnam as far as like our travels in Asia. That was the first time either of us had ever been there. And so basically when I got to Vietnam, I was like ready to take my hair out. So for like the first like couple of days, I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna take my hair out. But I was already thinking in the back of my mind, so what you go do next though? Because I did not travel. I did travel with a couple of hair products. I didn't travel with things like shampoo, conditioner, because I was like, no, that stuff I will just buy. I'm not going to. Exactly. But I was like, Bianca, you'll be able to find some black hair products. You know, black people are everywhere, which they are, but I'll digress on that and say that for another time. But yeah, so I remember being in Vietnam and I was traveling with a company that actually had like a community leader at the time. So I reached out and I was like, hey, do you know anywhere where I can find black hair products? Child, this girl thought I was talking about the color black. Oh. Like she was just like, oh yeah, a lot of people here have black hair. So and I was like, nah. Black. Exactly. So I was already kind of like, okay, well, my one Vietnam connect who actually lives here in the city cannot help me. Okay, Bianca. Plan B. So I was like, okay, let me go to like the like downtown central area where, you know, there's a lot of vendors and people selling stuff. So then I'm like dragging my husband around Hanoi, just like trying to find products. And I ended up coming across this like tiny, it's not even, I mean, it was like a vendor out there, but it was like not even the size of a bedroom. And I don't know why, I just feel like I could have spotted the hair cream. I was like, and it was Bedhead. I literally have not seen Bedhead in probably like 8 to 10 years. Like it was not a product. I didn't use it. I think it was like whenever I had first started experimenting with my hair, it was kind of one of those products. But you know what, Shannon? I was like, it's here. Well, I'm here. That's what we got, right? So I ended up buying the Bedhead and then I went home and I like took out my hair, blow dried it. I did all of that. And then I used it to curl my hair. And to be honest with you, like it was fine. Like it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was a little bit weary, but like it wasn't that bad. But what was so interesting to me is that my real connect ended up coming from my husband getting his haircut by a Ghanaian person in Vietnam. So whenever he went to get his haircut, I was like, well, I'm going to ask them if they know somebody who knows somebody. And they ended up knowing a woman who braids hair. So that's how I ended up meeting this Nigerian woman who had like an entire beauty supply store in her house. Yeah, like it was, and then I got my hair twisted there and it was a whole thing. But that's kind of how this all started.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine being that far away. To be honest, like Bedhead is not even a product line that I have been super familiar with. Like, and I remember, I think I'd heard of it briefly one time, and so I had to like look it up. But that's not even a product that I'm familiar with. So if I saw it, I probably would have cried. I might have just been like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Let me just go dip my hair in some water and call it a day. Because what else am I about to do? And that's like being in Vietnam, where they thought that black, or the person you talked to thought that black hair care products meant the color black. I'm still just kind of stuck there a little bit. I cannot hold you.
Shannon, being black in Vietnam is an experience. Okay, like go. For starters, let me say, go to Vietnam. It is a beautiful country. The people are so kind. You will literally eat some of the best food in your entire life. It's absolutely a budget travel destination. Like there are so many incredible things about Vietnam. But you will get stared at in certain areas. And especially if you have, I'll say big hair. And at that point in time, it was like me and my husband, we're both like, I mean, blackety black. I mean, my husband he's like dark skinned, 6'1", beard. I'm out here like a dark skinned plus size woman with like a fro. So we stood out 100. And there were also moments where like people wanted to touch my hair. It didn't happen super often, but it did happen. And that was that was its own experience as well. I mean, I feel like going to Asia and being Black, like it taught me so many different things. And then afterward, going to like Japan and Thailand and Indonesia, so there were there were a lot of moments where I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to keep standing out like this. Like I just want to blend in. Like I just want to not look like the person to, be pointing at or taking your phone out. But in the end, I don't regret any of those experiences at all.
And so I'm curious, right? Because I think like we've heard tell that happens much more commonly in Asia, right? In other countries abroad. But even for people who are embracing their natural hair and look different than they might expect to be, or like have hair textures that aren't the ones they see, and feel like they stand out even here, right? And that being exacerbated when you went abroad. How did you, right? Because you were able to, manage with bedhead, you found a braider, but like, how did you manage? Because how long were y'all over there first before
in Vietnam or in Asia? All of March, basically. Like 28 days, I believe.
And then how long were you in Asia?
From March until like mid-June.
Yeah, so that's a long spread of time, right? And so for you, how did you kind of like embrace your hair and adjust your mindset, right? Because there's sometimes where you didn't want to stand out, but how did that, I guess because you said traveling kind of really helped to, unlock like a lot more of your hair experience. So how did you navigate that, and what did that like mind shift look like for you?
Yeah, so the first part of it was recognizing that this is not an exaggeration. There are so many people in the world who literally have never seen Black people. Like they literally think that you are a celebrity. Like it's a very weird phenomenon because let's be honest, Black women, we have our own trauma of being in the United States and having other people be like, oh, can I touch your hair? Right. So I can't speak for everybody, but I know that for me, like it was very triggering at first because I didn't want to be rude, but also I wanted to like, pop your hand, like don't touch me. So like I also had to recognize like, Bianca, I understand that like you have these experiences that in the past have come from a place of privilege, but here it's not the same. And it's a very controversial topic in the travel world, which again, we can talk about another time, but going from Vietnam to Indonesia to Thailand and the China airport, that was really interesting. That was really interesting too. My husband and I, they have these like really cool like figurines in the airport, and we were like trying to take a selfie, and so this guy like volunteered to take a photo for us, and we're like, oh thanks, and all of a sudden he like pulls out his phone and like turns around like for a selfie with us, and we were just like, oh, okay, this is what this was. You really wanted a photo, but okay. But yeah, I remember we were in Japan. So at this point, we were about to go out to like this R&B event because we had come across this guy on Airbnb who had this experience where you could go out like and like party with him, and he was apparently having like an R&B night that he did once a month. So we were like, oh, dope, we're obviously going to this. And I just remember I was having one of those days where I've been lazy the past few days and I hadn't really been like twisting my hair. And essentially my hair was just doing its own thing. Like she was just like, I'm gonna be what I'm gonna be. Yeah. And I remember being like about to go out and getting dressed and looking at my hair. And like for a moment, I was just like, this is too much. I was just like, I don't have the energy to fight with you tonight. And then my instant next thought was, then why fight with her? She looks great. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it was like, it almost felt like a switch of just like looking at my hair and seeing this fro that wasn't like super defined. And it didn't have these curl patterns that I'd been envious of for so many years. And to just be like, girl, you look good. Let's go. And we went out that night and we just had a ball, and I was not so conscious about my hair, and it felt incredible. And that was the start of me being like, Bianca, you are all the way in Asia. Like you have had issues accepting your hair in the United States, in the country where you grew up in, and you were all the way in Asia. And I don't want to say that like it's sad that it took that, but at the end of the day, it was such an eye-opening experience for me. And then from Japan back to Thailand, I mean, it really all became a matter of do what is really simple. And that is really what has made my life so much easier.
I love that because even as you were talking, part of me was like, I wonder if it took being somewhere, like, yes, there are Black people everywhere, but like for you, it just wasn't the same volume of Black people. And part of me wonders, like, there's also not that same frequency of like hair comparison, right? Like, if you're just not in an atmosphere where it's like inundating you in that way, that allowed you to even get to that moment where it's like, okay, like this is really a me thing. And I'm just going to actively choose in this moment to see myself differently and then step out into the world in that, right? And then give yourself the freedom to continue to make that choice.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't even think I thought about it from that perspective before, and that is such a solid point. Is that I wasn't in an environment where I was like physically seeing so many other Black women with natural hair to compare myself to. Like it really, it's like it just came down. It was like Bianca, it's you and you. So like are we gonna keep fighting, or are we just gonna start loving her the way that she is and acknowledging that the way that she is today might not look the same tomorrow or the next day, but at the end of the day, this is your crown.
Yeah. I recently had an experience where I was in Kentucky and I left my comb. And it's like a wide tooth comb, not a thin one. I just was running late to the
Yeah.
airport and I forgot my comb. And I then had to like gate check my bag, even though I'd already paid to check it. And so they took my leave-in conditioner, they took my oils because they were all too big,
Oh.
right? And so I'm in Kentucky for the first time, like a Black woman in Lexington downtown, because I'm there for like work things. And I was like, my hair isn't done. I planned to do my hair when I got here, and now I'm scrambling because like I'm missing some of my key products. And I like was just
Mhm.
walking around. There was no like CVS or Walgreens nearby. There wasn't like a Walmart nearby. I was just like, what are the people doing? And like, granted, they're probably like just going to a store in the suburbs, but I didn't have a car. And I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I'm like running around. I can't find a comb. And I went to Urban Outfitters and I found like a mini unbrush. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to use this to detangle. And I had to like finger part my hair. And I like made a leave-in conditioner out of green tea and just did a green tea rinse. And it was just like things that, because I'm traveling, one, and I'm in a new place, it's like, okay, like we'll just experiment with this and like see how this goes and just trust it a little bit more. Like there was kind of a lot on the line because I was there for work, but it was also like, well, it's just me here. So like worst case scenario, it'd be a button. Best case scenario, like this goes well. But sometimes I feel like travel, for better or worse, can lend itself to like more experimenting. For better, like if you have the knowledge. The for worse part of, for me is like, travel is also how I had to go natural because I flat ironed my hair straight out of the ocean in France when I was in the 11th grade. And that's how my natural journey started because I heat damaged it so badly, right? So there being kind of like two spectrums of it, I think, depending on where you find yourself willing to learn and embrace.
Yeah. No, 100%. And Thailand was really in Thailand, that's the Asian country I spent the most amount of time in. We were there for like 9 weeks, 9.5 weeks, something like that. And that was really where I was like, okay, Bianca, yes, you can get your hair braided, but also like, let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's see what other Black people are doing out here. So I feel like that's when I really got to a point where I was learning how to keep my hair product line simple. That's when I was learning that, Bianca, there are other Black women out here. Reach out, use your resources. Discovering that, being able to go into Facebook groups and find other Black people, other Black women who are visiting or living abroad or traveling, whatever it is. And I'm like, girl, I already got the tip. So reach out. So I'm like, I'm all in these like Thailand Black expat groups, like searching hair, like what are y'all doing? And I ended up coming across this one woman who literally had a photo of like this little tiny thing of like aloe vera gel, which I personally had never used before. Like I'd heard of aloe. It's one of those things you hear it your whole life, but you don't really know. And of course now I look it up and I'm like, this has so many benefits. I should have been using this for many things for many years. But at that point in time, I was like, oh, and she was like, they sell it at every 7-Eleven. Y'all, 7-Eleven is like, you're not going to walk 2 blocks in Thailand without finding a 7-Eleven. So yeah, especially if you're in a city, which we were, because we were in Bangkok. So I was looking at the aloe, and then I started doing some more research, and I came across a girl on YouTube who was like, I just use aloe vera cream or aloe vera gel, and then oil, whatever, oil that you like best. And that's how I make my curling cream. And I was like, it ain't no way it's that simple. Like I was just skeptical out the gate, like, nah, but I did it. And I was like, holy moly donut shop. Blew my mind, Shannon. Blew my mind.
Holy moly donut shop.
This is one of my favorite sayings.
So aloe vera is something I'm grateful that I discovered earlier on in my journey for very much the same thing. It has so many benefits, right? It's already native to Africa. So like there's so much that comes with it. I use it in our Your Hair Made Simple's Nourishing Hair Butter. I don't even know if butter is technically the right term because it's partially mango butter and then aloe vera gel mixed in. So that it has to be refrigerated because of that. But I see so many good benefits from like doing that combination. And of course other oils and things, but just like having the aloe being a regular part of my routine to help with strengthening and repairing. So I love that, like going abroad, right? You're able to just like strip it down, right? Because sometimes I think we have product buildup, it can irritate our scalp. There's all these things that sometimes just come from like doing too much or over manipulating our hair, right? Like sometimes less is truly more.
That was such a beautiful lesson for me because once I discovered that, I was like, oh, I'm locked in for life. I mean, I put that curling cream. I mean, let me also put out here, y'all, I am not a DIY girly, okay? I am an outsourcing girly. I am like, I know my lane. I'm like, this is what I do. But this has been one of the other beautiful things about traveling is that even though I have never considered myself a DIY person, traveling has really shown me that Bianca, actually, there are things that you can do yourself, and it doesn't have to be crazy hard, and it doesn't have to be crazy complicated. And that discovering that mixture, that will stay with me forever, Shannon, because honestly, even like visiting the States, wherever I am, it's a product that I can find anywhere. Even if I gotta buy the aloe vera plant from the store and make it myself, it's like, I know that I can find it anywhere. And like my hair, like I'd never have product build up whenever I use my own curling cream. My scalp is not itchy. My hair doesn't turn that ashy gray color that I used to get whenever I would use a lot of the curling creams out of the beauty supply store. So it's incredible. I mean, and like you said, like travel will for sure give you some opportunities to experience, to experiment with something new. And sometimes you just got to take it and run with it.
Yes, absolutely. So you talked about you were in Thailand for 9 weeks. And that's where you were able to kind of like really start to dabble. So now, like having learned everything that you've learned, right? Like what does traveling with Bianca's hair look like today?
Oh my goodness. It is so simple. So if I happen to have like some aloe vera gel, then like I'll travel with it. But if not, I don't even worry about it because I know that I can get it abroad. Like I don't have to pack a bunch of products because I know I'll always be able to find coconut oil, olive oil, jojoba oil. Like I know that these things I can find anywhere because they have so many different benefits. So if I am traveling with products, it's really my unbrush, a detangling comb. I have a wide tooth and I have a smaller tooth one. I travel with just like a couple of clips, just to, whenever I'm doing my hair. And then, like I said, the product, I either have it with me or like I just buy aloe vera gel and I make it while I'm there. And for me, I typically have like mini twist. That was like a style that I discovered on TikTok. And I saved the videos. I went down the black hole of seeing all these different people. I had my reservations. And then similar to what I said about going natural, I was like, well, Bianca, if you hate them, then you could just not wear them anymore. Like you can, I was like, you can try this out. Yeah. So I ended up trying out mini twists on my hair. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so low maintenance. And I did my mini twist with the aloe vera, with the cream that I make. And some people, they use like different things. Like if you look up mini twist, obviously people will have whatever products they prefer. But yeah, so I typically I have my hair in mini twist. I do also travel with a wig that I got last summer because like sometimes when I do want to switch it up and I want a different look. So it's either the mini twist, it's either my wig. And I am currently in the process of experimenting with learning how to braid my own hair. If anyone is watching the video, the braids I'm wearing right now, I did these myself. Mm-hmm. So yes, thank you. Again, for somebody who's not a DIY girly, I'm like, Bianca, you just been stepping out there, sis. So it's just so much more simple than it used to be. Than whenever I first left the States and I was panicking because I couldn't bring my Mielle foam and my this leave-in conditioner and this deep conditioning treatment. And now I'm just like, girl, you don't even need all of it.
So for your shampoos and conditioners, you still just find those abroad?
I buy something out of the store and it's been fine with my hair.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's helpful to know. I like have a shampoo and conditioner bar. I like bars. So I like, cause they're minimal. They're like to prep with. So that's what I use now. Honestly, that's what I use in my regular routine and switching up.
Where did you get
So
the
I use, oh my gosh, I'm like allergic to a lot of stuff and have like had eczema and
mm,
things. So I use, there's a sensitive skin shampoo bar and you can use it for your body too by Briogeo. And typically it's on sale on
okay.
Amazon. So I like grab it when it's on like sale on Amazon. And then there's, oh my gosh, I like am so mad that I am like blanking on the name of it because I literally just unpacked it. But it's in like a purple, it's in like a purple box. It's like a black woman owned company, but they have like a shampoo bar or not shampoo bar, a conditioner bar. I'm gonna have to pull the name and I'll like put it in the comments so people can see it. And
Yeah, I need
yes, no,
this.
because I think traveling with bars is super easy and that makes it lightweight. Because just to your point, it's like a lot of things you can find, a lot of resources you can find. Like I'm a creature of habit, but also like I had to make my green tea leave-in conditioner. And it was like, well, we got these tea bags, we found a spray bottle, and like let's get into it, right? And so I think like knowing what are some of those easy starter things, like as people are like going into the curve of traveling, and like caring for their hair abroad so that hopefully they don't make the same mistakes I did and like want to drop their hair out the
Yeah.
ocean. Don't do that. Wash it and shampoo it first. My brain wasn't fully formed yet. Your brain doesn't form until you're 25 and I was in high school. So there's that. And I wasn't natural yet. That was a catalyst. We had to save ourselves from a life of further damage. Um, Now we're here and we don't do heat too often because of that. And so but I love that, right? Thinking about like, what are the ingredients? Because that's something important. I think here we don't think a lot about ingredients in our products. I think a lot about ingredients because I'm allergic to so many things. And now because I like make the products that I've been using for myself or the Your Hair Made Simple
hmm
community, but just getting down to like the root of what are the things that are like most helpful and impactful and how can we like simplify that and really just maintain our hair being hydrated and moisturized and the styles that are going to add with that. I love a good mini twist or a good like braid situation, a braid out. I haven't traveled anywhere for that extent of time, probably since that Europe trip where we know how to end it. I think I do better now. I think I do better now. But like when I went to Hawaii and even when I went to Vegas, like a couple of trips, like I'll wear it twisted the first half and kind of like know what I want to do around that. And then I'll wear it down like the second half and kind of know what I want to do around those things too. But also it's like if it gets wet, it's okay. We'll pull it in a bun, we'll pull it back, we'll make a ponytail. Like being open to the options when you're traveling, right? Because sometimes I know a lot of people are like, oh, I went natural. Now I don't have to worry about the water, but then we worry about our curls and those things. But like giving
Yeah.
space to just let our hair be. So I love that you were able to find community and resources and then identify like, actually, if I just have some aloe vera and some oil, like those things will be simple enough and effective for me. And if I do find myself needing more, there's plenty of communities and groups that I can lean into for that.
100%. Yes.
Yes, I love it. Okay, well, getting ready to wrap up our final questions. So, for those who are planning their next travel getaway and thinking about how to care for their natural hair, what is one final piece of advice that you would give to them?
I would say go ahead and start figuring out a way to simplify your hair care maintenance routine, however it is now. Because sometimes when you're already traveling, depending on what you have going on, where you are, who you're with, you don't want it to turn. And y'all, I know y'all know how it is when it feels like your hair is not going the way you want it to, and it's like the sky is falling and your whole night is ruined. So, what I would say is like start experimenting with those things now with like products that are very simple, styles that are very simple, so that you sort of have these things in your pocket. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful thing when you can discover it when you're abroad, but I bet it's a lot different. It's a lot less stressful. if you already have these things, and like you said about the green tea, leave it. I never heard of that. Never thought about that in my mind. I'm like, I'm reaching out to you afterward because I want to know more. Like, these are the kind of things you want to have in your pocket. So start thinking about these things now. Start experimenting with these things now, just to make your life easier. So whenever you're abroad, you can just spend your time enjoying your experiences, and you don't have to have self-imposed hair drama.
Yeah. Self-imposed hair drama. I'm screaming. For your answer, so like green tea has a lot of antioxidant properties, and I literally ordered some bags and I had a mister, and I put some, I got like some filtered water, because who's paying $3 to $4 for hotel water? And I put the water in there, and I put the tea bags in there, and I let it steep, and then I took the bags out, and that was it. And so super simple. Your Hair Made Simple update, we'll be working on formulating. That's been in the roadmap anyway. So now it's just like things that you learn on the natural journey. But if you want like a quick and easy way, if you find yourself out of a leave-in conditioner and you find yourself near a green tea bag, then wow, there you go, quick and easy.
This is the new travel essential right here. I'm gonna just stay stopped.
I have a box of green tea because I had to get the whole box, and now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm thirsty, great, check. If my hair is thirsty, also great, check.
Yes, multi-purpose. And it's like similar with the aloe vera. I think that's another thing that's so beautiful about this, is recognizing there are so many natural products out there that are multi-purpose.
Things that are good for your body are oftentimes also good for your hair. So like, that's the best way to think about it. I always say, like, if you're allergic to like tree nuts, coconut, don't use it in your hair. Like I'm allergic to those things, and I can't, so I have to formulate with those things in mind. Yeah, really? So I like, but jojoba oil, it works. Grapeseed oil has been top tier for me. And so like, those are just the things that I keep in mind. So knowing those things, right? And then from there, like, what are some simple ingredients or resources that can really work and support your hair? So, because traveling nationally, internationally, stately, wherever we're going, I feel like I'm always like just doing the mental thing. So again, like, what can I get into one small like setup?
Yeah, agreed.
But I love your advice. Get some practice in now, get familiar now. And then just be open too, right? Like, you never know what you'll encounter. And then my last question for you is, if you could say one affirmation to your hair, what would it be?
This is such a beautiful question. And I love that I really got to think about this, because I was like, I said a lot of things to my hair over the course of my life. Like, now I really would just tell her, like, girl, you are worthy no matter who else is around. It's like, really just like that simple. You are worthy exactly the way that you are.
I love that. Period. I have a little bracelet that my mom gave me from church. It says worthy. I'm like, I am. I've been looking at it sometimes, but like, to our hair, to us, our hair, you are worthy no matter who's around, because that part, we're not switching up. We're not switching up.
Let them see it. Let that fro out.
And that's the part. Once you step out into the world and you continue to exercise that muscle, like, soon it becomes like second nature.
And people, and not that they even have to, but like, people respect confidence. People respond to confidence. So that's the other thing, is people can sense when you don't really have that certain level of confidence in yourself. So, when I say, rock that fro, I mean, quite literally rock that fro. Like, don't have it on your head, but then it's obvious that you wish that it were not there, because people can sense that too, like, gas yourself up. Like, your fro is beautiful. So walk like it and talk like it.
I love that. I love that. Awesome. Well, Bianca, I know that you have some updates that you want to share with folks. I know you're going to want to talk about like giveaway things, but also tell them where you're going next.
Yes, that's a great point. Yeah, so I'm actually going to be headed back to Medellin, Colombia very soon. Colombia is one of my favorite countries. It's in my top 5 list. It will be my 3rd time there. So yeah, if anyone has questions about Medellin, if you want to see more, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at She's Booking the Flight, if you want to see kind of like where I'll be next and just like what the behind the scenes of this digital nomad lifestyle looks like, then yeah, reach out. Let's connect.
Awesome. I love that. And so Bianca also has like some giveaways for her like travel pack for 20% off. And we'll like have some links just for some giveaways to help you if you're thinking about going abroad, or if you're thinking about becoming a quote unquote US dropout. like just spending a little bit more time in the world. She has some resources that she wants to share with you guys, so we'll have them in the link to this episode. And thank you again, Bianca, for joining and just helping us to all embrace our natural hair as we go abroad. And for those listening who've been hanging out with us, thank you so much for being a part of our community. And remember, until next time, that all hair is good hair and your hair is good hair. Bye, y'all.